Hey everybody, and welcome to week number 25 of our Bible reading plan. This week we're excited to be reading the book of 2 Samuel, which tells the story of David's reign over the nation of Israel. As you read this book, let me give you 3 things to be watching for about David's reign over God's kingdom. Notice first of all that David unifies the kingdom. You know, when the book of 2 Samuel begins, the nation of Israel is divided. And this division occurs after the tragic death of King Saul. And it takes great wisdom and leadership ability, as well as God's providential involvement, for men to finally coalesce around God's chosen leader, King David. As he unifies the nation of Israel, Israel finally begins to realize God's plans for them in his leadership. Notice, second of all, though, that David prepares Israel for a great future. You know, there's going to be great things happen during David's reign, of course. That's God's plan and that's David's goal. But there's going to be great things that can happen even after David is gone. God has big plans for David and big plans for David's family. This is seen as David desires to build God a temple. And God will explain to David, and you'll read it this week, that it wasn't his desire for David to build the temple, but for David's son to build the temple. There's a great promise in that revelation from God to David. But notice lastly the tragic truth that David's failure hurts the kingdom. This isn't what David wanted to do, but this is what David unfortunately did after the tragic decisions of 2 Samuel chapter 11. Just notice how the lingering effects of sin hurt the kingdom even after that event. May God bless you this week in your reading as you consider the time of King David's reign over God's kingdom, Israel.